faint of heart. This is probably the deepest hip extension stretch that I could possibly come up with. So ease into it. You're gonna grab yourself band in through, the band should be attached right up to where your hips are. From there I loop it right underneath my butt. And then I'm gonna step back so that way my knee can become flush with the wall. It doesn't need to be flush, it could be a little bit over, but the more flush you are, the more stretch is gonna happen through your quads. From there, I'm gonna bring myself into the bottom of a lunge, and then I'm going to try to relax. I'm gonna take inhales that fill my belly up, and then exhales that press my hip forward and maybe lean back. If you want, you can reach your hand up and over, getting a little bit more in through there. About 2.5 minutes on this little contraption. Should be gnarly. Have fun with it.
Start with your PVC pipe. You'll grab on at the bottom. You'll bring yourself into this classic external rotation stretch. So as I grab on, I bring it out, and then I play around with the different angles. So at first, I want to kind of roll my shoulder up, back, and down. Notice if there's any clicks, make sure to go both ways. Again, you're not moving the PVC pipe around, you're moving your shoulder within its socket, right? Both ways, and then from there, I'm gonna see about poking my elbow forward, pulling the PVC pipe or hockey stick up, and then from there, bringing it in close to me and then out, right? So I'm gonna bring it across my body and then over, and see elbows drawing in, hands out, right? You should feel this stretch along your tricep, along your anterior delt, probably rear delt, maybe even a little bit in through the lats. And you're just gently pulsing. So you're gently bringing this PVC pipe up and hopefully getting comfortable. From there, even bring it in close to your body and across. You can even kind of turn it into this stretch, a little classic delt stretch that looks a lot like that front rack. And then from there, you're going to increase the angle. So I'm going to reach up a little bit higher, maybe bring the PVC pipe a little bit more towards my elbow and then pull up. Once I'm about 25 seconds there, I might make the angle really, really short, right? So elbow or a hand directly on top of the shoulder and then find that. Yeah, that's pretty gnarly, pretty sticky. I think about rolling the PVC pipe open so I can open up a little bit more. So, and then lift right in through there. You'll do that both sides. You'll try to notice the difference between sides if there is one, right? Then that's awesome. And then after you do both sides, you're gonna grab onto a resistance band. Because the Rogue one seems to be a little bit too much, then maybe kind of shorten a resistance band by tying a knot in it, and that way it's close enough that you can feel the elbows drawing in, but not close enough that it makes your shoulder feel like it wants to come out of its socket, right? I grab onto the to the PVC pipe, and then from there I play. The elbow's drawing in super close. It looks ridiculous on me right now because I didn't mobilize this left side. So just to give you an idea, you're going to bring it on up and then down. The stretch is actually going to be all across the scapula, right? So as you lift the elbows up and bring the PVC pipe back, you're going to feel the shoulder blades rolling down. So feel that. And if you want, you can even grab onto a lacrosse ball. Let's see actually if I have one. I have a little ball of tricks. Okay, I don't, but I do have a tennis ball, so that works fine. So I'm going to loop myself in. I grab onto a tennis ball. I bring it right in between my shoulder blades, right where I know it's going to open up when I bring it overhead. And then I'll try it out. I'll reach it up. As I bring it up, okay, then I can play around and try to get and trace the perimeter of the scapula when you're in an emulated front rack position. And then from there, you'll bring it all the way back and then see if the hands behind, elbows then can draw in. You're hanging out there. If you want to apply that with a little side body space, reach up and over, hip shift over to the side as you reach, and then up and over. After all, your lats are going to play a pretty important role in being able to establish that front rack, so feel free to explore while you're in this position. When you come on out, you're going to turn it down to the floor. First, we're going to focus on internal rotation. So as I come on down to the floor, here's my test. My elbow that's down onto the ground, I want to come down and bring my elbow in line with my shoulder. From there, do I have external rotation? Can I get the hand to drop to the floor? If you can, congratulations. You got 70 degrees, you're doing good. 70 to 90 degrees. And then internal rotation too. You're here, and then you're trying to keep the elbow in line with the shoulder. I just caught myself, so you would too. And then reach it down and see what you got. Today's a horrible day for me, so I'm trying to be honest. I got about, is that like maybe 45 degrees? So I got us plenty of work to do to try to get to that 70. From there, you're gonna grab onto a foam roller so you have something to rest on your head. I'm here, I grab on, I use it like a pillow, and then from there, my elbow in line with my shoulder, and I take my hand and I gently push it down. From there, I breathe. I try to recommit to the elbow in line with the shoulder. Every time I take an inhale, I'm going to kind of pull my elbow as if I'm pushing it towards you, right? So if I'm pushing it towards the camera. Actually, I just had this idea as we were saying this. You might be able to grab onto a resistance band and kind of loop it to something. I'm actually just going to loop it to my foot to see if this is even possible, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to loop it in through my elbow, try to distract it away either with the rig or however you decide to do it, and then I bring myself back down, so it should feel like I have something pushing me in this direction, right? And so it feels like it's kind of taking my shoulder blade with it. Play around with that, attach it to the rig. I need a little bit more to feel it, but okay, there I feel it, right? So I use my other foot, I kind of pushed it in. It should feel like the shoulder blade peels away, and then now, as I bring that hand down, I'm finding a lot more range of motion. Yeah? I bring it on down. You're going to be here for about 2 minutes, so it'll be a fair amount of time kind of exploring, breathing and kind of feeling everything start to shift. And then you'll come on out and then you'll retest it. And then now, how close do you get? Okay, I'm a little better, but not quite, right? And the other thing we want to notice is, does that shoulder, as you internally rotate it, does your shoulder pop forward or can you keep it back? Ideally, you want to be able to get to that scarecrow position or that ring knit position, externally rotated instead of kind of popping it forward right here and getting it all into the delt. So about 2.5 minutes each side on that one. You're going to bring yourself about snatch distance, so you'll go up, and then from there you'll bend. You'll bring the PVC pipe directly behind your head. In fact, you'll bring it behind your head so you have something to actually push into. So I want you to work on kind of tucking your chin and pushing and finding a neutral cervical spine as you press it back. Yeah? And then from there, I want you to draw your elbows in close. Again, I'm here, I position myself so my head is back and then my elbows are in. From there, you should feel fire in through your subscaps and through your teres major, teres minor. You should be totally supported in through the rotator cuff. And then from there, now this is too high for me, but I'm just letting you know I do want you to use a stool or something. So I'm here, I'm shoulder width apart, my elbows draw in, I fire up in through my armpits, and then from there, I sit onto a chair. Yeah, and then from there I stand. So you'll try to work this overhead position and really just isolating. I like to call this as like mixing the front rack and the snatch, right? The overhead squat mixes with the front rack to create this. So you can find what I'm talking about through what it means to engage through your teres major and teres minor, to pull the elbow forward and to pull the shoulder back and down. All right, so you'll do 10 repetitions of those. I'd love to see it, actually. I'd love to get a little feedback as well on how that movement pattern works. And as always, have fun. Okay, next. I like to call these roaches. Only because that's kind of how you look when you're rolling over. So you're here and you're going to set yourself up for a modified side plank with your right elbow down, rolling the shoulder down the back. So the elbow, what I'm really asking you to do is push the elbow into the floor so you have a little bit of elevation. From there, you're going to keep the right knee down onto the floor. Again, down onto the floor, the knee. Not feet stacked, but knee down. And then from there, you're going to bring yourself into a modified side plank. All right, so I'm right in through here. I'm squeezing my butt like crazy. I'm pressing my hips forward. And then notice that I'm lifting this top knee. I'm keeping the feet together at first. So it's kind of like that side plank clamshell that we're up to. And then you'll come back down and relax. So first you'll do 10 repetitions of this. I lift up into a modified side plank, and then I bring myself down. I lift myself up. What I'm doing is I'm lifting in through that glute med. Yeah, and then I bring myself back down and I relax. I'm lifting in through my glute med and my obliques as I press my hip forward and try to establish ribs drawing into hips. And then right back down. So 10 like that, and then you're going to rotate. So you're going to lift straight up. This time the leg will extend out. And then ever so slowly, I want you to see if you can rotate yourself into this weird modified side plank. So the right knee is down, but the left leg is lifted. I'm going to plank on my elbows, and then from there, I'm going to rock myself back onto my side, and then let my hips come down, right? Let myself relax in between each rep. Again, I'm here, my knee is down. I lift up to a side plank on my elbows and knee. My leg is lifted. From there, I start to rotate. I keep my time with it. I'm really wanting to control my ability of that glute med to transfer over into a plank without dropping, and then bring myself back into that side plank and then down. And if you're doing it right, it should be a lot in through the shoulder. It should feel a lot in through the back. So if you feel a lot in through here, try to re-engage in through that teres minor, teres major. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I'm trying to move isolation into integration. And even though the integration is still slow and controlled movements like this kind of fundamental stuff is going to let you feel confident when you drop underneath the snatch, because you know that you can control your hips ever so slowly. So when now speed comes into play, your ability to rotate your hips underneath you should, in theory, be improved. So you'll do 10 repetitions on each side. The only qualm that I have about this exercise is that sometimes it's a little tender on the knee because you're kind of rotating in it. So grab onto an ab mat or something underneath you, or loop up, fold up a yoga mat a few times so you can place it on there. Let me know if you're having any struggles or concerns on it, and have fun.